Hello and Shabbat Shalom to you. Hope that you are having a lovely Friday afternoon, and that lovely Friday afternoon will turn into a meaningful and wonderful and refreshing Shabbat for everyone as we talk about this week's Torah portion called Tisa. And Tisa is a Torah portion, a quite popular. It is popular not in how great it is, but also in how troubling it is, because this is the Torah portion that talks about the golden calf. We know the story, right? That Moses goes up to Sinai. There is this sort of image behind me of Moses on Mount Sinai receiving the Ten Commandments, which we also hear about several weeks ago in the Torah, and then he comes down and finds that the Israelites, in their boredom, let's say, because Moses wasn't coming down immediately, got nervous, melted down some of their gold and silver and jewelry and decided to build a golden calf. What's interesting about the Torah portion, what I actually want to mention, is not necessarily the golden calf issue, which is a huge issue. It becomes known, by the way, as one of the worst Jewish DNA moments, meaning we have these beautiful DNA moments of leaving Egypt, of the Exodus, of all these other incredible moments, but this one also sits somewhere within our people also, that just after hearing the Ten Commandments, just after receiving laws, just after hearing about what the components would be like and the work would be like to begin building the tabernacle, we find the Israelites building a golden calf and then worshiping it, and then going outside of the realm of what God and Moses and Aaron and Miriam were trying to teach the Israelites. What I want to just quickly focus on is this, that the irony is that, well, it's not irony. God gets very upset in this moment, and it's Moses that steps in and says, "You're upset, but unleashing your fury, killing people, is not the way to go," because God was in our text and in commentary says God was so frustrated after this beautiful setup to find out that the golden calf is being worshipped. And the flip is, Moses is able to convince God not only to not punish the people, but also to provide us with one of the most popular section of praising that exists. And those are the connections that remind us of the 13 attributes of God. We know them as Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun. It's this whole list of these 13 attributes, essentially, of mercy from God. It's this sentence pretty much that says, right, Adonai, Adonai, God is a benevolent God who is compassionate, gracious, slow to anger, abundant in loving kindness and truth, preserving loving kindness for thousands, forgiving iniquity, rebellion and sin, and God pardons. And it's this beautiful flip that happens where God actually, in this moment, even though God is angry, God finds this way to show us compassion in all these ways. This is, of course, very popular. We say this sentence over and over again at the high holidays. So on the Shabbat, I just want us to reflect on juxtapositions in our lives, right? That things could be said or done in one way in our frustrations, and yet we can find a way to say and do things in a different way. We can learn from God here, also with the partnership that Moses has with God and the partnership that we have with God, but also the way that the message was going to go in a different way from frustration and anger of the calf, and yet we get the terminology, the idea, and the thought that God can be all forgiving for us. So on this Shabbat, let's let's keep in mind of those juxtapositions that we really can put ourselves in. And maybe even though we're inclined to do something, we can find a way to maybe peacefully, thoughtfully engage in a different way based on how God engages in this moment, in this Torah portion of Tisa. Our services are not that long from now at 6:30. Well, I look forward to seeing you, and then tomorrow morning at 8:30 for our service and Torah discussion and study. Shabbat shalom, everyone.